Welcome to my channel official History of Coins episode, where we dive deep into the pockets of history and pull out treasures you might never have known were there. It is absolutely fantastic to have you here with me today, as we're about to embark on a fascinating journey into the world of classic American coinage. Let's get started. Have you ever found an old, large dollar coin in a drawer, or perhaps received one in change years ago and wondered if it was anything special? Today, we are going to focus on a true icon of the early 1970s, the 1971 Eisenhower United States dollar coin. This coin, often fondly called the Ike dollar, is a doorway to a pivotal moment in American history, and for some of you watching, it could be a doorway to a significant payday. We are going to peel back the layers of this coin, exploring exactly why it was created, the story it tells, and most importantly, whether the one you have at home could be the version that makes you gasp. So, why was this hefty coin even made in the first place? To understand that, we have to travel back to the year 1971. For decades, the United States had not produced a dollar coin for circulation, but several factors aligned to change that. The primary driving force was the passing of Dwight D. Eisenhower, the beloved World War II general and 34th president, in 1969. There was a strong public and political desire to honor his memory on a coin. Simultaneously, there was a very practical, if less poetic, need from the gaming industry in Nevada, which was desperate for a new, durable coin to use in their slot machines. President Richard Nixon, who had served as Eisenhower's vice president, signed the authorizing legislation into law on December 31, 1970. This law not only honored a fallen leader but also aimed to save the government money in the long run, as coins last far longer than paper dollars. The design chosen was a masterpiece of symbolism. The obverse, or head side, features a striking portrait of Eisenhower, created by the Mint's chief engraver, Frank Gasparro. But it's the reverse, the tails side, that truly captures the spirit of the age. The reverse of the Eisenhower dollar is a direct tribute to the incredible achievement of the Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969. Based on the mission patch designed by astronaut Michael Collins, it shows a bald eagle, America's symbol, landing on the lunar surface, with an olive branch of peace in its talons. Hovering above the eagle's head is the Earth, a breathtaking image that gave the coin its alternate nickname, the Moon Landing Dollar. This combination of honoring a great American and celebrating a giant leap for mankind makes the 1971 Eisenhower Dollar one of the most historically rich coins in the modern era. Now, before you go running to check your piggy bank, it is crucial to understand that not all 1971 Eisenhower dollars are created equal. The United States Mint struck them at 3 different facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark, those from Denver have a small D above the date, and those from San Francisco bear an S. This tiny detail is the first and most important clue in determining your coin's potential value. The vast majority of the ones you'll find in pocket change are the no mint mark, Philadelphia strikes, or the D mint marks from Denver, made from a copper-nickel clad composition. This leads us to the million-dollar question, or perhaps the $20,000 question. How valuable can one of these coins really be? The answer is a thrilling spectrum that ranges from face value to a life-changing sum. For the common, well-worn 1971 Philadelphia or Denver coin that has spent decades jingling around in drawers, its value is truly just $1. But for the 1971 Philadelphia coin in pristine, untouched condition, the story changes dramatically. These coins were never sold directly to collectors by the Mint. The only way to get a perfect one was to pull it from circulation and preserve it, making high-grade examples exceptionally scarce today. In fact, the 1971 Philadelphia issue is considered the key to the entire Eisenhower dollar series because finding one in top condition is so difficult. While a nice uncirculated example might fetch around $80, the value skyrockets as the condition improves. We are talking about coins graded MS66, which have sold for between $500 and $600. But the pinnacle, the absolute peak of what a standard 1971 Philadelphia Eisenhower dollar can achieve, is the MS67 grade. These are virtually flawless gems, and they are incredibly rare. One of these magnificent specimens sold at auction for a staggering $19,187. But wait, we're not done yet. The silver versions from the San Francisco Mint also hold significant value, particularly the proofs. In 1971, the San Francisco Mint struck special 40% silver versions for collectors. The uncirculated ones came in a blue envelope, nicknamed Blue Ikes, and the proof versions with their mirror-like finishes came in a brown box called Brown Ikes. These are valuable in their own right, typically trading for $10 to $15, but in perfect condition, they can command impressive prices. One 1971 S proof, graded a perfect PR70, sold for $13,800, proving that these modern marvels are serious pieces of numismatic art. Now, I want to share with you something truly extraordinary that pushes the value of this coin into the stratosphere. There exists a mind-boggling rarity that most people have never heard of. It's a 1971 Eisenhower dollar that was struck in the wrong metal, a prototype, or a transitional error. These are the holy grails within the series. One such coin, a 1971 S that was intended to be a pattern or has some unique, unreleased attribute, has been valued at over $250,000. Reports have surfaced of such a coin, with unique design elements like an incomplete moon on the reverse, being valued as high as $246,000. This is the kind of coin that numismatists dream of finding in an old collection. So how do you find out if your coin is the common $1 variety or a $20,000 windfall? The first step is to look at it closely. Check for a mint mark. If you have a coin from Philadelphia or Denver, it needs to look like it was just made. You're looking for a sharp strike with full details, no nicks, scratches, or bag marks on the surface, and a brilliant, original luster. Because these coins are so large and heavy, they were easily damaged just by jostling against each other in mint bags, which is why perfect ones are so rare. If you believe you have a coin in exceptional condition, the next step is crucial for realizing its true value. You must have it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. They will encapsulate the coin in a protective holder and give it a numeric grade that tells the world exactly what it is. A coin in a certified holder is what serious collectors and auction houses demand. It removes all doubt and unlocks the coin's full market potential, as seen with those record-breaking sales we discussed. In conclusion, the 1971 Eisenhower dollar is far more than just a piece of currency. It is a tangible piece of American history, honoring a great leader and a monumental achievement in space exploration. While most of these coins are common and worth only their face value, a select few are sleeping giants. Whether it's the elusive high-grade Philadelphia strike, the perfect San Francisco silver proof, or an even rarer error coin, the potential for treasure is real. I encourage you to go and look through your old coins. You never know what you might find. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive today. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the hidden value in your pocket change, please give it a like and share it with a friend. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can join us for our next adventure. As always, happy hunting, and may you be the one to find that $20,000 treasure hiding in plain sight. Next coin, the 1974 Eisenhower dollar, is a sleeping giant in the world of coin collecting. And if you have one sitting in an old drawer or you spot one at a yard sale, you are holding a piece of American history that could actually be worth a small fortune. Most people look at this large, heavy coin and just see a silver dollar, but we are going to peel back the layers today and uncover why this specific year, 1974, is a coin you need to pay attention to right now. We are talking about the Eisenhower Dollar, affectionately known as the Ike Dollar. And the 1974 issue sits right in the sweet spot of the series. Struck from 1971 to 1978, these coins were the last of the large-sized dollar coins produced by the United States Mint for circulation. They were big, they were bold, and they featured Dwight D. Eisenhower, the five-star general and 34th president, on the front, with a reverse design that captured the Apollo 11 mission Eagle landing on the moon. It is a coin that represents American leadership and achievement, and that story alone gives it a powerful foundation for future value. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of why the 1974 issue is so special. The Philadelphia Mint, which places no mint mark on its coins, churned out a substantial 27,366,000 of these clad dollars. The Denver Mint, marked with a D, produced even more, with a staggering mintage of 45,517,000. When you hear numbers like that, you might think, well, if there are that many, they can't be worth anything. But that is where the magic of coin collecting comes in. Mintage numbers are just the beginning. Survival in high condition is everything. What makes the 1974 Eisenhower Dollar valuable is the condition. These coins were never really popular in circulation. They were too big and clunky for pockets and cash registers, so they sat in bank vaults, were used in casino slot machines in Nevada, or were simply tossed into drawers and forgotten. Because they weren't used much, many survived in decent shape, but here is the kicker. They were usually stored in huge bags. Imagine thousands of heavy coins clanking against each other in a canvas bag. That is how they got bag marks, those little nicks and scratches on the surface. Finding one without these marks, in a high state of preservation, is actually quite difficult. In fact, numismatic experts like Dave McHenry have noted that while you can find bags of these coins, finding one in MS-64 or MS-65 condition is quite scarce. The typical 1974 Philadelphia strike is known for having a sharp design and nice luster, but the surfaces are often compromised by those contact marks from the bags. So, if you have a coin that escaped that damage, you are looking at a premium. A standard, circulated 1974 dollar with no mint mark might only get you a few bucks, maybe $1 to $3, but that is just the starting point. Let's talk about the current value and where the real money is hiding. For a common, worn-out Ike dollar, you might spend it at the store, but please don't do that. Even a basic uncirculated example, one that never saw circulation but might have a few small bag marks, can sell for around $6 to $15. But when you start climbing the grading scale, the value explodes. According to recent pricing guides, a 1974 P Philadelphia, in MS-66 grade, which is a gem uncirculated coin with great eye appeal, can command a price tag approaching $300. But wait, it gets so much better. The maximum value we have seen for a standard 1974 Philadelphia clad dollar is absolutely jaw-dropping. The highest grade ever recorded by PCGS for this coin is MS-67. And what is that coin worth? Hold on to your hats. A 1974 P Eisenhower dollar in MS-67 is valued at a massive $18,500. You heard that right, nearly $20,000 for a coin that was made in the tens of millions. This proves that condition is the ultimate king in this series. The reason it is so valuable is that out of the millions graded, only a tiny handful ever achieved that pristine, flawless state. Now, we cannot ignore the Denver issue either. The 1974 D is just as promising. While it had a higher mintage, finding one in super high grade is still a challenge. A 1974 D in MS-66 is worth over $100, which is a nice chunk of change. But the top tier for Denver is even more impressive. PCGS has certified a 1974 D at MS-67+, and that coin carries a value of $6,500. These figures are not just hypothetical. They are real market values based on certified coins that have sold or been appraised. There are even auction records showing a 1974 D selling for over $14,000 in the past. This is real money we are talking about. But the treasure hunt doesn't stop at Philadelphia and Denver. If you really want to talk about value and potential, you have to look at the San Francisco issues. In 1974, San Francisco struck coins specifically for collectors. They made two major types, the 1974 S-clad proof, which has a mirror-like finish, and the 1974 S silver dollar. These S mint marks are the ones that often have a built-in value due to their silver content. The 1974 S silver dollars contain 40% silver, so even if they are not in perfect condition, they are worth something based on the melt price of silver. The 1974 S silver dollars were sold to collectors in special packaging. The uncirculated versions came in a blue envelope, blue Ikes, and the proofs came in a brown box, brown Ikes. These are highly collectible. A standard 1974 S uncirculated silver dollar might be worth $15 to $30, and a proof might fetch $20 to $40, depending on silver prices. But again, perfection is where the fortunes are made. A 1974 S silver dollar in perfect MS69 grade is valued at an astonishing $11,500. And if you have a 1974 S silver proof that is graded PR70 deep cameo, meaning it has a perfectly mirrored field and frosted devices, that coin is valued at $600, but the clad proofs in that perfect grade have sold for as high as $9,000. Let's dive deeper into the history and the context of this coin because it adds to the allure. The year 1974 was a tumultuous time in America. President Nixon resigned in August of that year due to the Watergate scandal, and Gerald Ford became president. The country was facing an energy crisis, high inflation, and economic uncertainty. This coin circulated during a time of change. It was also the year that Hank Aaron hit his 715th home run, breaking Babe Ruth's record. Holding a 1974 Eisenhower dollar is like holding a tangible piece of that era. It connects you to a specific moment in American history, and that historical significance only adds to its desirability for collectors in the future. Now, I want to tell you about the hidden varieties that can turn a regular 1974 dollar into a super valuable era coin. If you look closely at the eagle on the back, you might see something odd. There is a famous variety called the peg leg Eisenhower dollar. On normal coins, the eagle's right leg has a rounded, muscular appearance. On the peg leg variety, the leg looks thin, flat, and almost like a peg. This was caused by die polishing that wore down the detail. If you have a 1974 D with a clear peg leg, you have a coin that is worth significantly more than a standard strike, especially in higher grades. There are also doubled die obverses, where you can see doubling in the lettering of Liberty or In God We Trust. These are rare and highly sought after. And then there are the major mint errors, off-metal strikes, broad strikes, or off-center coins. Imagine a 1974 dollar struck on the wrong planchet or a coin that is struck 50% off-center with the date visible. These are the holy grails of error collecting and can sell for thousands of dollars at auction. So you see, it is not just about the date. It is about the unique characteristics of your specific coin. So, how high can the value of a 1974 Eisenhower dollar go in the future? We have to look at the trends. Modern coins are gaining popularity. The generation that grew up with Eisenhower dollars is now actively collecting them, driving demand. As more people enter the hobby, the competition for high-grade examples intensifies. The coins that are worth $18,500 today could easily be worth $25,000 or $30,000 in the next decade. The certified population of these high-grade coins is fixed. There will never be more MS67 1974 P dollars than exist right now. As demand increases and supply stays the same, prices only go one direction, up. For the silver issues, the value is tied to both the silver market and collector demand. If silver prices spike, the floor price of those 40% silver coins rises automatically. But beyond the melt value, the numismatic premium for perfect proofs and uncirculated silver ikes has room to grow. They are pieces of art, with designs that celebrate the space program. They appeal to coin collectors and history buffs alike. The 1974 silver dollar in top grades is a relative bargain compared to other modern rarities, and savvy collectors are taking notice. What about the common clad coins you might find in a roll? Even those have potential. A roll of 20 uncirculated 1974 dollars from a dealer might cost you around $119 today, which is less than $6 per coin. If you can find a roll of original bankrupt coins and search through them, you might just find a high-grade gem or an error variety that pays for the whole roll 100 times over. That is the thrill of the hunt. It is a treasure hunt, where the treasure is sitting in plain sight. The market for Eisenhower dollars has matured. In the past, collectors overlooked them because they were too modern. But now, the professional coin grading service, PCGS, and others have recognized the conditional rarity of these coins. They have data that shows how few coins survive in gem condition. This data drives the market. When a coin is listed as conditionally scarce by experts like Q. David Bowers, it gives collectors confidence to invest in high-grade examples. Second coin, the 1776-1976 United States Eisenhower Bicentennial Dollar, is not just a coin. It is a time capsule, a piece of patriotic art, and for the sharp-eyed collector, it can be a life-changing financial find. If you have one of these in your possession, or if you come across one at a flea market or in Grandpa's old collection, you are holding a piece of history that millions of people actively want to buy right now. We are going to dive deep into this coin, exploring its fascinating origin, its current market value, and the jaw-dropping maximum prices that the rarest examples can command. First, let's talk about the immense demand for this coin. How many people want to buy it? The answer is a staggering number. The Eisenhower Bicentennial Dollar is one of the most collected modern United States coins in existence. You have generations of collectors involved. You have the registry set collectors competing to build the highest graded sets, which drives up the prices for pristine, uncirculated examples. You have history buffs who are drawn to the bicentennial theme. You have silver investors who seek out the 40% silver versions. And you have millions of everyday Americans who remember finding these in their change as kids and want to recapture that memory. The demand is a vast, multi-layered pyramid of buyers, and at the very top of that pyramid, there are wealthy collectors willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for a single, perfect coin. So what is the current value of a 1776-1976 Eisenhower dollar? You will hear a lot of different numbers, and that is because not all of these coins are created equal. The value ranges from just $1 to nearly $1 million. The most common versions you might find in an old jar are the copper-nickel-clad coins minted in Philadelphia with no mint mark, and Denver with a D mint mark. If these coins are worn from circulation, they are indeed only worth their face value of $1. But if they are in uncirculated condition, that value immediately jumps to between $4 and $15, depending on the specific variety and how well they were preserved. But that is just the starting line. The value is actually really high for the right coins, and it climbs dramatically based on two things: condition and composition. Let's start with the silver versions. The San Francisco Mint struck special collector's editions containing 40% silver, identifiable by the S mint mark. These were never intended for circulation. They were sold to the public in two distinct packages: the uncirculated blue ikes in a blue envelope, and the proof brown ikes in a brown box. The current value for a typical silver uncirculated coin in its original packaging is around $14 to $25, while the proof versions trade for $20 to $40. But even here, perfection drives the price up. A top-grade, perfect MS-69 silver uncirculated dollar can be valued at over $200, and a flawless PR-70 proof silver dollar can sell for $275 or more. In fact, a 1976 S silver proof, graded PR-70 deep cameo, recently sold for over $1,200. Now, the maximum value of these coins, the absolute peak of what they can sell for, is where things get truly unbelievable. To understand this, we have to look at the history of the design itself. This coin is unique because it features a one-time-only reverse design to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. The government held a national design competition, and a 22-year-old art student named Dennis R. Williams won, with his stunning image of the Liberty Bell superimposed on the moon. It is the only U.S. circulating coin to feature a dual date, 1776-1976. During the production of this new design, the mint created two distinct varieties of the reverse, which collectors call Type 1 and Type 2. The Type 1, minted early in 1975, has bold, block-style lettering. The Type 2, minted later, has thinner, more refined lettering. The Type 1, especially from the Philadelphia Mint, is much scarcer in high grades, and that scarcity translates directly into maximum value. A 1976 D Type 1 clad dollar, graded MS-67, sold at auction for an incredible $9,600, and the record for a 1976 Type 2 Philadelphia clad dollar in MS-67 plus grade is even higher, reaching $10,800 at a heritage auction in 2024. These coins were made of copper and nickel, but because they are in such phenomenal condition, they are worth a small fortune. But we have not even touched on the true king of the bicentennial dollars, the coin that represents the absolute maximum value. I am talking about the 1976 S silver proof. This is one of the rarest and most valuable modern United States coins in existence. As we discussed, all San Francisco proofs should bear an S mint mark, but on a tiny handful of proof coins struck in 40% silver, the mint mark was accidentally left off the die. This error created a coin that should not exist. It is a proof coin from San Francisco with no mint mark. The PCGS price guide estimates the value of this coin at a staggering $850,000. Let that sink in. A coin that was made in 1975 or 1976, that is only 50 years old, can be worth nearly $1 million. That is how high the maximum value can go. Why was this coin even built? The history dates back to the early 1970s. After President Dwight D. Eisenhower died in 1969, there was a strong movement to honor him on a new dollar coin. At the same time, the country was preparing for the monumental bicentennial celebration in 1976. Congress wanted a special commemorative design. They combined these two ideas, passing legislation that authorized the Eisenhower dollar with a special bicentennial reverse to be struck in 1975 and 1976. There was a huge debate in Congress about whether the coin should be made of silver or the cheaper copper-nickel clad. The compromise was brilliant. They would make the circulation coins out of clad, and a special edition for collectors out of 40% silver. This history is crucial because it explains why there are so many different types and why some are so valuable. The coins struck for circulation, the ones from Philadelphia and Denver, were made by the hundreds of millions. They were saved by the public as souvenirs, but they were also banged up in mint bags, which is why finding one in perfect MS-67 condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. That is why they command the high prices we see today. The demand for these top-tier coins is incredibly strong. The PCGS and NGC set registry programs have created a fierce competition among collectors to own the finest known examples of each date and mint mark. For a 1976 D Type 1 dollar, PCGS has certified only 19 coins at the MS-67 level, with none higher. When you have hundreds of wealthy collectors wanting to own one of those 19 coins, the price naturally skyrockets. The auction records prove this demand. We have seen an MS66 Type 1 sell for over $5,600 at a major auction. The market for these condition rarities is deep and passionate. For the silver proofs, the demand is just as intense. While over 4 million silver proofs were made, only a tiny fraction, just 166 coins as of 2021, have ever been graded a perfect PR70. That scarcity, combined with the beautiful mirror-like finish and the historic design, makes them highly desirable. People want to buy them because they are the absolute best example of that coin that exists. They are the pinnacle of the series. So if you are listening to this and wondering about the value of your coin, you must look at it with new eyes. Do not just see a large dollar. See the details. Check the mint mark. Is it an S? If so, you already have a silver coin worth a baseline premium. Look at the condition. Does it look like it just left the mint with no scratches or marks? If it does, you might have a gem. Compare the lettering on the back. Is it thick and blocky Type 1 or thin and sharp Type 2? The Type 1 is the one to watch for.